The dog always knew first, even before the smell changed or the shadow shifted. He would stop short in the hallway, his nails clicking a nervous rhythm against the floor, tail stiff head tilted not toward the door, but slightly left of it, where nothing ever moved, and the air always felt just a little colder than it should have. I didn't notice the pattern at first. It was just a quirk. I thought some odd instinctual hesitation, like when they bark at thunderstorms an hour before they come, but looking back, I think the dread had already settled into the drywall, by then into the wires and the grain of the table. And the only one who wasn't pretending not to feel it was him. The kitchen had always been the warmest part of the house. Sunlight caught perfectly in the little window above the sink each morning, and the linoleum was worn smooth in that way that makes a place feel lived in, not broken. But something began to rot in that room without actually decaying, and that's a hard thing to explain to someone who's never felt time split open like that slowly and without warning the first time. I noticed him refusing, really refusing, was the night I dropped a plate and it didn't break. It just landed with a dull sound like it had fallen onto something soft, even though the floor is solid. And he didn't even flinch, just stared at the spot. It hit like he was waiting for something else to happen. It was 2:47 in the morning, I remember, because I had just looked at the stove clock after getting up to check the sound. I thought I'd heard from the hallway something soft, a brush of movement, like a shirt sleeve dragging against the wall, or someone taking a breath. Too close to my door, I told myself it was the pipes or the refrigerator, even though I knew the fridge hadn't made a sound in weeks. Another thing, I hadn't yet let myself admit that the motor had gone silent, and yet everything inside was still cold. The dog Murphy wouldn't cross the threshold, no matter how many times I called or how I coaxed him, even with his favorite toy, the red plush rabbit he used to carry to bed like a child. And it wasn't fear exactly, it was something more like restraint, like he knew it wasn't his place anymore. I stepped in myself, hand on the counter, and everything felt normal, except for the slight hum beneath the floor, like the vibration you feel near train tracks, except it was always under my left foot, no matter where I stood. The hum would stop if I moved that foot, but it would return the second I rested my weight again. I started testing it night after night, always after 247, which is when the air would shift just slightly, like the house exhaled and something else inhaled. There was no heat or cold, just a rawness that never raised goosebumps, but still made you sweat. And then I started to notice the lights. Not flickering, but a slow pulsing, too slow for the eye to register consciously, unless you watched long enough. The ceiling bulb in the kitchen began to fade and return like a breath, but only after that minute. I filmed it once just to see, but when I watched it back, the footage played in reverse. I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean I watched myself back away from the counter, step backward out of the room, and sit back down in the living room. Chair, coffee cup untouched and full. I deleted the file, but the next night my phone buzzed at exactly 2:47 a.m., and when I looked, the video had returned, renamed entry_1 move. That's when I started keeping the phone off at night, but the next morning there would always be a new file. Entry_2, entry_3. They stopped at entry_17. The last one just showed the empty kitchen lights off, nothing moving, except for one frame halfway through where a chair was slightly turned. I only noticed because I'd been trying to memorize the exact layout of everything to see if it was all staying the same. That chair, the one near the Wendier small round table by the pantry, was always tucked in, always. I haven't sat there since. I moved to the living room, entirely slept on the couch with Murphy curled at my feet, always waking just before 247 without an alarm. One night I didn't wake up in time, and I dreamed I was in the kitchen, but everything was reversed. The fridge on the wrong side, the window gone, the door a little too narrow, and when I woke up, Murphy was howling. He never howled, not once in 9 years. I've never been able to find the source of that howl on any recording. Every time I tried to capture it, the audio would come back blank from 247 to 306. A flat line, not silence, blank. I started marking the time in other ways, pencils left standing in the Hallway, a line of salt once across the floor. Every time I did something would be just slightly wrong in the morning. The pencil would be in a different color. The salt would be shaped like a circle instead of a line. I never saw it happen. I even tried putting flour on the floor once to see if something walked through. Nothing did. But the outline of my own feet was there in the morning barefoot, and I always sleep with socks. I checked the locks. Doors, windows, all untouched. I set up a camera outside the kitchen door. But every time I reviewed the footage after that minute, it showed nothing but static until sunrise. It began to change me slowly. I didn't notice until a friend Nathan stopped by and said the kitchen smelled different. Asked if something was burning. I didn't smell it, but he did, said it reminded him of burnt hair. He didn't stay long. I think he sensed it too in his own way. I tried staying away from the house for a night, slept at a motel, but I still woke at 247, and when I checked my phone in the morning, a new file had been added, entry _18 move. It showed my living room from the ceiling. There's no camera on my ceiling. That was the first night Murphy began sleeping under the couch, wedged so tightly. I had to coax him out in the morning. After a while, I stopped eating in the kitchen. I brought in a mini fridge for the living room. I unplugged the overhead light. But every night, no matter what, the kitchen bulb would still pulse once slowly at exactly that time. I tried covering the doorframe with a sheet. In the morning, the sheet would be folded sitting on the counter. It was never wrinkled, always perfectly folded like from a hotel. That was the first soft cliff for me, the first time I felt something had truly touched the objects in a way that required intent. Then came the radio. I hadn't used it in years, one of those old countertop models with a dial, mostly decorative. One night it turned on by itself, softly, not music, just static with a low hum behind it. It was 247. I unplugged it. It stayed on. I took out the batteries. It stayed on eventually. I smashed it with a hammer, but the sound still played, just quieter, like it had moved inside the walls. Murphy growled for the first time since he was a puppy. He growled at the ceiling. I called an electrician, a specialist, even a paranormal guy Nathan found online, though. I never told him what it was for. They all said the same thing: nothing wrong with the wiring, house is clean, no infestations. But one of them lingered by the kitchen door, said something odd. He asked if I'd ever lived here before. I said yes, of course. I bought the place 8 years ago. He looked confused and said, no, I mean, before. That was the second soft cliff, the second crack in the mirror I hadn't yet looked into, because later that night, I pulled out an old album from the attic, one I hadn't touched in years, and inside was a picture. Black and white, the kitchen same as now. But in the corner next to the pantry was a high chair and a child. I don't have children. I've never had children. I don't even remember being a child here. But the photo was labeled in handwriting I recognized as my own: Breakfast March, 1994. I was born in 1988. That would have made me 6. I don't remember the photo. I don't remember the chair, but the wallpaper was the same. The light bulb fixture was the same, and in the corner of the picture, barely visible in the blur, was the outline of Murphy's ears. He wasn't born yet, not for another 15 years. That was when I began keeping the kitchen door shut permanently. But it didn't matter. I could still feel the minute, still feel the second, every night the same tremor, the air folding inwards. I stopped bringing people over. I stopped working, stopped calling Nathan back. My voicemail filled up. I couldn't focus long enough to clean, and yet the kitchen remained spotless. Always. I once tried to leave for good, packed a bag, loaded Murphy into the car. But at exactly 2:47 a.m., on the highway 30 miles from home, every radio in every passing car glitched. I know that sounds like paranoia, but I heard it. Just for a second, they all played the same sound. That soft hum, like something breathing into my ear. I turned back. I couldn't help it. The third soft cliff came last week when I noticed the calendar. The small one on the fridge I never update. I swear I'd torn off June. I remember doing it, but it was back, hanging straight, no crease. June 2023. It's July 2025. Now I checked the other pages. Blank. Just that 1 month. Just that year. I don't know if I imagined this next part. I don't know what real means anymore, but 2 nights ago, I woke up not in the living room, but in the kitchen chair, the one by the pantry. It was 2:46 a.m. Murphy was barking from outside the room, tail tucked, eyes locked onto me, like he didn't recognize me. I tried to move, but my limbs felt like they belonged to something older, like my joints had been used differently for a very long time. I looked down, and my feet were covered in flour. The outline from before my outline, I'd walked through it, not something else me. I had been doing it over and over. Every night, returning, repeating, resetting. The files, the static, the hum. They weren't warnings. They were records, playback proof. I've been coming back to this room every night at 2:47 a.m. for years. I don't know why, I don't know how. But something here remembered me when I didn't remember it. And Murphy, he was never scared of what was inside. He was scared of what came in with me. That's why he won't enter. That's why he looks away. I wasn't protecting him. He was protecting me from the truth, from the part of me that's never left this kitchen. That's never stopped waiting. That's never aged, I think. That part is stronger now. I think it wants to stay, and I think this time it's not going to let me leave. The house was empty. The security system said someone was still inside. I don't think you understand how quiet it is when a house decides to forget you. When the walls start absorbing sound instead of bouncing it back, when the hum of electricity becomes a presence instead of a background. I only noticed it because of the blinking green light on the keypad. That damned blinking. I moved out 7 months ago. That's what makes it confusing. The furniture's gone, the curtains were stripped, and I had the power shut off in April. But the system was still armed, blinking steadily in that dead green pulse, like a vein under skin, like it had never been told we left. I shouldn't have gone back. I only returned to grab the last few boxes from the crawl space, the ones with the photographs I didn't want to look at, but couldn't throw away. The lock was stiff, like it had been waiting too long. The air inside was dry, still, like no breath had passed through it since winter. I remember thinking it didn't smell like anything, not even dust. That should have struck me as strange. Places without people usually start to smell like something else, but this place smelled like absence. I didn't hear the sound until I reached the stairs. A soft chime, just once. The security system makes that sound when a door opens, but I was alone. I'd locked the front behind me. I told myself it was old wiring, maybe a glitch, but that wasn't the part that made me freeze. It was what came after, the soft click of a deadbolt sliding into place upstairs, quiet and patient, like someone locking a bathroom door. You know how your spine just stiffens when something happens that doesn't belong to the moment you're in? I stood there with the box in my arms, not breathing, until the hallway above me dimmed slightly, like something had shifted in front of the skylight. I didn't look up. I don't know why. I just turned and walked back out the front door without shutting it, carrying the box with me like it was protection. I didn't even go back for the car keys I'd left on the counter. I just sat in the driver's seat and waited for something, anything, to explain it. But the longer I stared at the doorway, the more I realized something had changed. The house no longer looked abandoned. The light inside had softened. It looked lived in. I drove away. I didn't sleep that night. I just kept replaying it, asking myself why the alarm would trigger if no one was there. Why a lock would engage upstairs when all the doors had been open. I told myself maybe the new owners had started moving in without telling me, though. The real estate agent said it hadn't sold. It's still listed. I checked again last night. Price dropped. Photos still show it empty. But when I called the security company to ask if they could check on the system, they said the account was still active, still billing, still logging entries. The last one was from yesterday. Master bedroom window open, disarmed, 6:43 a.m. They asked if I wanted to update my emergency contact. I never gave them one in the first place. I hung up. I thought maybe I should report it, but what would I say? That an empty house had a feeling that someone might be inside, though no one owns it and nothing was stolen. It sounds insane, but that's not what's bothering me now. What's bothering me is the mail. 3 days after I visited, I got an envelope with no return address. Inside was a printed photograph, just one. It was the view from the hallway at the top of the stairs looking down toward the front door. My coat was visible, my hand holding the box, taken from the shadows above me. There was no message, no signature, just the photo printed on glossy paper. Like someone had walked into a drugstore and used the instant machine. The angle, it was exactly where I'd felt the light shift. I didn't show anyone. I told myself it was a prank, that someone had followed me, that maybe a neighbor saw me return and wanted to mess with me. But the neighbors moved years ago. That whole stretch of the street is for sale. No one lives there anymore, and I would have noticed someone behind me. The silence was too heavy, the kind that wraps around your ears like cotton, where even your heartbeat feels like an interruption. Last night I went back. I needed to know. I took a flashlight, left the car running, and kept the driver's door open. I didn't even shut the gate behind me. I told myself I'd walk the perimeter, check the windows, look for signs of entry. The flashlight flickered when I got near the porch. It stayed strong everywhere else. The front door was shut, locked. I hadn't locked it. I hadn't even closed it. I pressed my palm against it. Cold, too cold. The same way it feels when you touch metal that's been sitting in the dark too long. There was a light on upstairs, a soft one, yellowish, like the old lamp we used to keep by the bed. But we sold that during the first yard sale. I remember putting the sold sticker on it. I remember helping the woman lift it into the back of her van. She asked if it still worked, and I told her I hadn't used it in years. She said it looked like it had a lot of quiet in it. That phrase stuck with me, a lot of quiet in it. I think she was right. I walked away again. I didn't try to go in. I told myself I had to leave it alone. But when I got home, the keys I left on the counter were sitting on my kitchen table, not thrown, not placed, just set there facing the same direction. I always leave them with the plastic tag hanging just over the edge. My name was still on the tag, but it looked fresher, like someone had traced over it with a marker. The marker was still uncapped. In the drawer. That's when I started recording this. I needed a record. I needed proof. Because something is happening with that house, and I think it has to do with time or memory, or whatever holds your place in the world when you're not paying attention. The security app won't let me delete the account. It says I don't have permissions. It was under my name. It still is. I tried calling again. The agent on the phone kept calling me Mr. Langley. That's not my name. When I corrected him, he got quiet, then said he had the wrong file. But then he asked if I wanted to reactivate visual monitoring. I said no. He said, too late, already running. Then he hung up. Last night, a camera feed opened on my phone by itself. It was a hallway upstairs, my hallway. The one I used to walk every night from the bedroom to the bathroom when I couldn't sleep. But the photo frames were back on the wall. My wife's jacket was hanging from the hook. The small tear in the wallpaper had been patched. I watched for hours. Nothing moved, but the timestamp kept flickering. Every few minutes it would jump backward, just a few seconds, not enough to catch it first. But after an hour I realized I'd watched the same sliver of nothing 27 times, like it was caught in a loop. At 2:43 a.m. something stepped into frame, just a shoulder, pale, slightly turned. Like someone walking past the door with no urgency. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't look away. The angle was too familiar. The movement too calm. Then the feed froze. It's been frozen since I haven't slept. There are indentations in the rug upstairs that weren't there yesterday. Footprints bare heel to toe, walking in a circle. I didn't go upstairs. I think I know what I'll find. This morning another envelope came, no return address. This time it was a screenshot of the camera feed. Same shoulder, same angle, but this time someone had circled it in red ink and written one word beneath it: welcome. Handwriting was mine. I recognized the curl of the W. I don't write like that anymore, but I did back then. Back when the house still felt like mine. I started going back through old photos, trying to remember the layout, to check if maybe this was just my mind pulling tricks, nostalgia mixed with guilt maybe. But the more I looked, the more I realized something I hadn't seen before. The photos on the wall in the hallway, they're different in every picture. Slight changes, a head tilted, a missing smile, a new frame. but it's always just off enough that I can't place which version was real, or if any of them were. I found one photo of me and my wife from 2017. We're in the living room. Her hand is on my shoulder, but the shadow behind us, it's shaped like someone standing just out of frame. Not a coat, not a lamp, a person. I showed it to her. She doesn't remember the photo being taken. She said she never wore that shirt. We fought about it. Not a big fight, just tension. Like we both knew something was wrong but didn't want to name it. That night she stayed at her sister's. She hasn't come back yet. I don't blame her. I keep thinking about the sound I heard that first visit back. The click of the deadbolt. Upstairs. It wasn't meant to scare me. It was meant to seal something in or out. I don't know which. But I've started locking my bedroom door at night. Even though I live in a new place now, even though there's no reason to, I hear the chime. Sometimes the soft one, like a door opening, just once, always at 6:43 a.m. I checked my lease. Move-in date March 11th. The same day the listing for the old house first went up. I checked the timestamp on the lease agreement. It was signed at 6:43 a.m. I didn't remember being awake that early. I checked my bank statement. The deposit cleared exactly 1 minute later. There are patterns if you know how to look, but by the time you see them, it's usually too late. I don't think the house wants me back. I think it's pretending to. That's worse somehow, because it means it's watching me still. Recording waiting. I don't know how long I've been talking. I don't know if this is even being saved. But if you find this, if it shows up somewhere, like a file mislabeled or a message in your spam folder, please do one thing. Look at the light on your security system. If it's blinking green, it means something's still inside, and it might not be you.